Hi, welcome to the HR Happy Hour Work Break. You are here with Trish and Steve and our special guest, Raj Mukherjee from Indeed. Raj, welcome.
Trish, Steve, thank you for having me. Really excited.
Good. And Steve Bose, how are you today?
I'm well. Happy first day of summer here in the Northern Hemisphere.
Is it?
Enjoy all the daylight later today, hopefully.
Very, very much so. So I'm here in Colorado where it's been very sunny like all week. So I guess on this longest day of summer, I'm going to have to try and go out and find
And
some
yes, my
sunshine.
mug does say crabby until I get my coffee, which is absolutely true. It's still the morning here where I'm at, so
Yeah. And are you in Illinois
I'm in
today?
Illinois.
All right, Raj, what about you? Where are you calling in from?
I'm in hot Austin, Texas. Like it
Nice.
really is
Ooh.
hot here. It is, yeah.
I
It's
love Austin. Raj, I have not been there since I used to go to South by Southwest all the time, and I haven't been in probably at least 5 years. So is that
oh,
still a big thing there? So everyone's still coming down for South
still a
by?
big thing. Yes, still a big thing. A lot of people come down. There's a lot of reasons to like Austin. Uh, Summer heat is not one of them. Certainly
Gotcha.
not one of them.
Gotcha. Okay, so I've never met someone that was actually from there and lived there. What like because they're known for their food. Do you have like a favorite like go-to that you recommend is like if we're in Austin, where should we be eating?
But I'm not a meat eater, so the recommendation that I get from meat eaters, I'll start there. Uh, Franklin's Barbecue. I've heard
Franklin's
that is
barbecue.
an yeah, I've heard that's an amazing place. People rave about it. Uh, I
Okay.
I cannot vouch for it one way or other.
Okay. What about non-meat eating people that are
Non-meat
listening?
eating.
Yeah, where
So
do you like to go?
I yeah, I really like North Italia. Uh, it's a local. I don't know if it's local or not. It's a very good Italian restaurant in
Mm.
Austin that I
Okay.
enjoy going to. My wife likes it. I like it. My daughter likes it. If three of us like it, we don't come. We just don't think. We just go there. That's it.
Nice.
I agree. It's really hard to try to get a whole family to agree sometimes on where to eat. So good
Yes.
stuff. Good stuff. Well, I tell you what, Raj, why don't we just take a few minutes? I know everyone has probably not only heard of Indeed, but used Indeed at some point in their life, right? But I'd love to just hear your perspective, a little bit about Indeed and what's going on, maybe from like a non-user's point of view. What should we know about Indeed and what's been going on lately with you all?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. Well, Indeed's been around for a while, and I understand a lot of you might have already used Indeed. And if you haven't, you should. That would be my advice as a job seeker. And this is like generally, even if I didn't work at Indeed, I would give the same advice. And the story is very simple. If you're looking for a job at any point in your life, you should have an updated resume on Indeed. You should also have your updated LinkedIn profile. This is coming from a person who works on Indeed. Those things are required in this day and age where recruiting happens online. So there is no shame in having an updated resume or an updated profile. That's just normal. Like everybody expects you to have that. And actually, if you don't have that, that is a little bit sloppy in some ways. So that's my take. But what is happening with Indeed? That's a much broader question. I'll start by quickly giving my background. Been with Indeed for 7 years. Had many roles in the company. But of late, I look at what we call the employer products. So everything that employers use to hire is under my purview. And obviously, making sure employers are happy with it, that we can sell them appropriately, all of that kind of rolls up into the overall picture that I look at. Now, in terms of what's happening and new, so many. We could spend just a whole hour on that. I'll just leave one thing for everyone. We are focused on becoming and are becoming a matching and hiring platform, as opposed to what you may have heard in the past as a job board, job site, for a matching and hiring platform because we think that's going to change the way people get hired in the future.
Great. Can I ask one question? I know Steve probably has a ton as well. I recently talked to a college student who was being asked to create a cover letter. And I'd love to hear your perspective on is that still something that employers are looking for? Is that something that you would, be telling a college age person to create, or is that a little bit outdated at this point?
I think it still matters. A lot of people see your cover letter as a way to understand how well you write. how passionate you are for the job, how much research have you done for the company. And I'll share a quick personal experience recently. My daughter, who is 16 years old, her name is Arna, and Arna came to me this towards the end of her school year and said, "Hey, Dad, I really want to." She calls me Baba, so
Mhm.
like I want to look for an internship. I'm like, okay, great. You should have the same advice I gave everyone here. You should have your LinkedIn profile updated. You should have your updated resume on Indeed and a few other places that are our competitors and all of that. And so I shared that with her, and she went about doing that, and she ended up getting a bunch of interviews. The job market is still hot for job seekers,
Mhm.
uh, but as a 16-year-old, she ended up getting jobs where she was going to get paid really well, and super excited and whatnot. The job she took, the one that she liked the most, is the one that she did the most research. She
Mm.
actually sent a cover letter. She sent an updated resume to the hiring manager, and she had a deep conversation on how that's going to help her grow as a she. She's not sure what she wants to do with life, 16-year-old, but
Right.
definitely she wants to do something with data and psychology. And so the role that she got was about marketing. And so you kind of combines all of that, but I can tie it to the fact that she actually sent a cover letter and a resume and had that really meaningful conversation. So it matters. It still matters.
Thank you. It's good to hear because sometimes we wonder if that's something that people are still looking for. And I love the perspective, though, about the research and writing component of it because I don't think, we all think of cover letters as that. Sometimes, back in the day, I can remember thinking, like, oh gosh, I have to write another cover letter, right? And a lot of people just would copy and paste.
Or
And I
you're
think,
using
oh,
Chat GPT. That's another story,
oh
right?
gosh,
People
right?
are doing that, right, for a
Yeah,
cover
don't use
letter. And
Chat GPT for your cover letters, right?
I
I
don't
like
know.
that though. It's a way to highlight what you know and what you've maybe researched about the company and show your passion. So
And it
great tip.
doesn't have to be big. It
Yeah.
really doesn't have to be big. So just to be super clear, when I say cover letter, I am talking like half a paragraph is good enough.
Okay.
But yeah,
Very
Hey,
good.
hey,
Thank you.
Raj, one of the things I love about Indeed is just your access to data, right? With millions and millions of jobs, millions of job seekers, hundreds of thousands of employers, and so on and so forth. You have a great overview and a great data set around what's happening in the labor market, sort of broadly, right? I'd love for you to comment a little bit, a minute or so, however long, about what are some of the macro trends you mentioned in your daughter's job search specifically,
yeah,
right? Still a lot of interviews, a lot of interest,
yeah.
tight hiring market. I love your thoughts, your perspective from some of the data you're able to get access to about what's happening in the labor market.
Yeah, I mean, the at the highest level, the stat that I always share with people, we still have like really record employment numbers. Like
Mhm.
broadly, that is just happening right now. But yes, we have a front row seat to what's happening in the labor market. Very fortunate that we have that. And The COVID happened. I know people have probably started to move on from COVID, but it didn't. It was only 3 years back that it really happened. And then you had the post-COVID hiring frenzy, so much increase in job postings as the world reopened, and then over time things slowed down, and it has slowed down. I'll give you the US numbers. Like, we see a negative 16% year over year job postings.
Hmm.
That's a real number. Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, we do see slowdown in overall the labor market, but it's still tight. And to my daughter's job search situation, there is demand for workers in many pockets of our economy.
Yeah.
That has not gone away. 3.7% unemployment rate means there's a lot of demand for workers. That's just
Mhm.
what it is. And so we see, I mean, if you look at any number of data, you can look at Jolt survey, you can look at whatever is your favorite source of economist, and some of it we actually look at our internal data at nauseum. And what we find is very simple. Job vacancies are still very high. There are close to 10 million job vacancies in the country. And also, I'm talking US, not
Yeah.
globally, but
Mhm.
in the US job market. And also, the other thing that of note, you're still close to a historically high number of job openings per job seeker that is looking for a job. That's still close to 1.7 from the
Right.
last time I checked. And so that is a pretty big number. So when you think about it and take a step back and you look at all these are averages. For an individual employer, the microeconomy for an individual employer, if you are in healthcare, if you're looking to hire a nurse, be in Austin, Texas, or somewhere else, it's really hard. It's really, really hard. If you're in hospitality, a lot of people left the hospitality sector.
Right.
It's really hard. And these are secular shifts that are happening, Steve. You have falling birth rates, you have aging workforce. These things are not changing. This is macroeconomically, these are happening. Immigration is tight, and people's preferences have changed. Hospitality sector being a preference from job seekers, where they have left, many of them have left that sector. So broadly, you're going to have these pockets of high demand and low supply, and that needs to be factored in as we look into the future.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the economic factors too, because I mean, I was just talking with my own kids about some of these with the falling birth rates, right, and
Yeah.
things like that. We don't we sometimes think like, oh gosh, this is all happening because of maybe the pandemic, which of course had an impact, but there's also all of these other economic factors that have played in and have been building for years, and we're just now seeing. You're right, the aging population, they're not going to be available to do jobs very soon, right? In the next decade. So yeah, we've got to be thinking about working smarter. Kind of brings me to my question, which is we hear a lot. I know everyone's talking about AI.
Yeah.
I would love to hear both your perspective and how are you all at Indeed thinking about artificial intelligence as we apply it to whether it's job seeking or whether it's just in the workplace in general. What are you thinking about that?
Very, very good question, Trish. I'll take a quick step back and then I'll talk about the AI
Sure.
aspect of it. We ran a recent survey and talking about the barriers to hiring and came back with 5 big barriers to hiring. The number one barrier, poorly matched candidates. Like really, that is and it's number two
Mhm.
barrier, the time it takes to hire.
Sure.
What are these symptoms of? Symptoms of the technology not really doing a great job for majority of employers. And when we ask them, like, what do you want as an employer? What do you really want? Match me to quality candidates. 9 out of 10 employers.
Mhm.
Directly connect me with quality candidates. Same, 9 in 10 employers.
Hmm.
Save me time. Automate the hiring process.
Yeah.
Portions of it I don't really like. I don't like looking at stacks and stacks of resumes. I want to reduce the time to hire because that is real business. And whatever be the size of the employer, everyone's saying that. And so that's where, again, what Indeed is doing, this concept of matching and hiring platform, a stat that we really feel proud about. We make more than 20 hires per minute. And this is 3 times higher than what it was. Sorry, this is 2 times higher, not 3 times higher, 2 times higher than what it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
I got 2 and 3 mixed up all the time. So I wish it was 3 times higher. That would be
Mhm.
also because that would mean we will help more job seekers. That's why it matters.
Right.
And so this is where AI comes in. Like I know the world is going through its eureka moment where everybody's talking about AI and they're like, this is the next big thing. And yes, it is. And we are so excited about it. But it's also a concept at Indeed that we have been working on for the longest time. Like it's the foundation of the company. When we talk about matching and hiring platform, matching is about machine learning and any form of other technique that we use to connect a job seeker and employer better.
Yeah.
When we talk about hiring platform, it's about automating the steps in hiring. And how do you do that much faster than it happens today? And so this is tied to the data that we have. And we have more than 140 million preferences that we collect every single day. And you might say, what is preference? Well, the fact that I want to live in Austin, Texas is a preference.
Mhm.
That I want to hire a particular job category, that is a preference. I want to hire a customer service agent. So all of that is being captured and merged into our data. And we have 300 million job seekers, more than 3 million employers, and then we connect them and we match that. Like that's really what AI is.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for giving that perspective. Steve, I know we've been talking a lot about work. This is also a work break. Any news? Anything we
I have
need
an
to be
item
knowing
I
about?
want, and this will be a good way to kind of wrap today because
Okay.
it's sort of work, but it's also fun at the same time.
All right.
Raj, are you familiar with the movie The Devil Wears Prada? Is that a movie that you've heard of or familiar
I've
with?
heard of it. I've heard of
Okay,
it.
so you may know this story. Trish, I know, knows the movie because we did a whole podcast
We
about the
did.
movie recently. Trish, you may have seen this in the news, but for those who are not aware, the Devil Wears Prada, quote unquote, job, if you will, the
Mhm.
job is
Right.
open. It's open, Trish. There's a job listing right now. The title is Assistant to the Editor-in-Chief of American Vogue and Chief
Oh
Global
my.
Content Officer at Condé Nast. This would be the assistant job to Anna Wintour, who I'm sure you've heard of, right? The famous
Yes.
fashion editor and fashion executive
Right.
who is mostly believed to be the inspiration behind the main Miranda Priestley, right? Meryl
Mhm.
Streep character in The Devil Wears
Uh-huh.
Prada. And
Yeah.
this particular job, this opening for the assistant, which you can, by the way, Raj, is on Indeed. I'm looking at it right now. The job listing is on Indeed. So if you just search Condé Nast, assistant to the editor-in-chief on Indeed, you'll find this job. It's open right now.
Oh
Trish,
my
my
goodness.
question is, so this is the job, right, of that movie, right?
Yeah.
Get this job and be her assistant. Would you, if you were a younger person, Trish, this is not really this
Oh,
is
not
more
right
of,
now.
starting in their career type of person job.
Okay.
You would recommend folks apply to this job and go for it to be the assistant to Anna Wintour?
Absolutely. You know why? Because I think if you work for someone who is rumored to be as meticulous and demanding as she is, right? If you can work for a leader like that young in your career, I think it actually helps you personally because you've done it all and seen it all then. I think the other thing when I think back to that movie, it was not just about what she had to do like at work in the office for her. It was like all of the extra. I remember starting very early in my career at PwC, and one of the partners, a female partner, would have her assistant put on her riding boots and go get them buffed and polished. And we were all like mortified. We were like, oh, can you believe that someone like her would have the nerve, right? No, it was actually good because you knew, like, if you did these things, like you paid your dues, you were going to be destined for greatness.
Raj, what do you think?
I don't know.
If you're
That's my
familiar with the movie enough, what
I am. I'm
do you
familiar
think of
with
this job?
Uh, I kind of I'll go with Trish. I really will. At the early stages of your life, and this is I actually think of it as a very simple word: work ethic. If you can develop work ethic
Yep.
under a boss that's demanding, you will do well in life. It's
Mhm.
very hard to teach two things in life: curiosity and work ethic. If you have those two, I think
True.
you will be successful.
You're
I
right.
love it. I agree
Love
with
it.
both of you guys, actually. I think this would be a great opportunity for someone just in the early stages of their career. Go to
Yeah.
Indeed.com. Condé Nast is the employer, assistant to the editor-in-chief, American Vogue. You'll find it. I'm looking at it right now. It's open right now, so get out there. Check it
I
out.
have one final question on hiring. Raj, are you all hiring at Indeed? Are there jobs there that you're really trying to fill that we want to get
Yes,
the
we
word
are.
out about?
Yes, we absolutely are. There are open positions right now, and you can find a few marketing positions at Indeed that were opened up recently. And yes, please go ahead, search for jobs on Indeed, and or you can find me on LinkedIn and send me your resume as well. That's fine as well. As I said,
And a
I
cover
am
letter.
and your cover letter. But my personal advice to everyone: put your resume on Indeed. Like really, put your resume on Indeed.
Okay.
Make sure it's refreshed because you don't know what great opportunities might come your way.
I love that. Sort of passive looking
I love
always,
it.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Well, good. Raj, we will send everyone to Indeed.com. Definitely connect with you on LinkedIn. And thank you for coming on the work break with us today. This has been fun.
This has been fun too. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Trish.
All
Thanks
right.
so much, Raj.
Thanks, Steve. And thanks to everyone for listening. Be sure to check out the podcast, the HR Happy Hour Network, and all of our shows. You can get it where you find your favorite podcasts. And we will see you next time.